Hi guys. I am here to walk you guys through your area lesson, and I hope you guys are doing well. I miss y'all very, very much. Welcome to week 5. We have made it. We are doing really 4 different math skills this week. The measuring, the line plots, area, and then also the practicing multiplication. And I figured that with multiplication, you guys probably wouldn't need a video since it's mostly just reviewing your facts. And before we left, we were able to make it all the way through the 11s. But I did make a video for the line plots and the measuring. This video is about area. So if you feel like you need a refresher on area, iReady actually does a really good job with this lesson. I actually really like it. And this is just me walking you through some of the big parts I think are important to emphasize and like make sure that you understand in order for you to do well on this lesson. So the biggest thing with area is how much space something takes up, if you remember that. It's how much space is inside, how big the shape is, that kind of thing. So in this case, on this shape here, there's 2 ways that you can find, really 3 ways you can find the area. The area of a shape can be found. We're trying to figure out how many squares make up this shape. So there's multiple ways we can do that. We can count them. So I can count literally all the way up to that number. I can multiply like an array. I can do how many across times how many down, which I think that's the way I would normally do it. That's just what makes sense to me. But there's also repeated addition that you can do here. So if I wanted to add 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, that could also work. So in this case, you have 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, 3 here. You have 4 threes. So 3 threes is not enough. And 4 fours is too many because I have a 4 here, a set of 4 here, a set of 4 here, but I do not have a 4th set of 4. So in this case, this would be the repeated addition correct answer. So really make sure that you are looking at each possibility. 3 times 3 would just be, let me use my little pen thing. Oh, I don't have it. I don't know why it doesn't let me have my pencil. But my 3 times 3 would just be right here, 3 times 3. But in this case, it's 3 times 4, which is not an answer. 3 times 4 is not here, but 4 threes is an answer. So that is also another way to say it. As far as area goes, this is the same thing. That's looking for a multiplication expression that you could use. So I would just count how many across times how many down, or how many up and down times how many across. Multiplication has the commutative property, so it doesn't matter which order that we say it in. 3 times 5 or 5 times 3, they equal the same thing. So in this case, it doesn't matter what order you put it in. It's just looking for those 2 right answers. You could sit and count them all, but it's still looking for a multiplication expression. So that's why we need the 2 numbers. What times what equals this shape or this array. Moving into the quiz. Oh, not yet. This is still in the tutorial. But in this case, they're irregular shapes. Irregular means not regular. So in this case, irregular shapes have a strange shape about them or outline that doesn't allow you to multiply. You can't multiply these because it's not fully filled in. So I could not say 3 times or 3 times 3. I can't do that because it's not 9. It's not fully filled in. If I wanted to, I could and then subtract the 2. If your brain thinks like that, you can do that. You could do 3 times 4 and then subtract the 3 that are not there. Some students find that that is an easy way to do it. But when I tell my students to do irregular shapes, I tell them just to count them. If they're small enough that you can count them and not count to 553, then just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one has an area of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This has an area of 10. A shortcut might be 3 times 3 for this square, and then add a 1, which would give you 10. So you can see there's a lot of different strategies to find the area, and it's totally up to you with what strategy makes the most sense. Now we're moving into the quiz. I'm going to save that one for the end because I thought that one was the hardest question. Question 8 says what shape has the greatest area, meaning the biggest. In this case, these shapes aren't too big that you can't count them. So I would just go ahead and count them. This one is a nice rectangle, so you can actually do the array multiplication property for this. So you could just do 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like 3 times 6. You guys should know your facts for 3 times 6. And then this one would be 2 times, it looks like 8. So 2 times 8, count up these, and figure out which number is the biggest. So with area, again, you can count if it's irregular, or you can do your multiplication strategies for that. The last question, which I thought was actually very difficult, I will give you guys a little bump up in your percentage if not very many people do well on this, but I really think this is the only hard question. This question asks for the area. The crazy part is that it has half squares filled in. So I would start with counting the ones that are fully filled in. So it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I have 7 over here, and I have 8 over here. Those are all of my full squares that are 100% filled in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 squares. Then I have halves. So I have 2 halves. I know 2 halves make a whole. So I'm going to need to pair these off into partners in order for me to count them as wholes. So this one and this one, I'll call that 2 halves make a whole. I'll count that as my 9th square. I'll count these 2 as my 10th square because together they make one whole. And then I'll count these 2 as my 11th square. So kind of giving you a freebie here, 11 square inches should be the right answer. We can always try it. Let's see. Okay, so 11 works, but that is how I got that answer. I have to pair them off in order to make wholes. And I thought that question was crazy hard, so I am happy to give you that one. I hope you guys feel like this is a good refresher of area. Hopefully you don't have to dig too far back in your cobwebs to remember what area is, but I wish you guys the best of luck. Go Rocket. I miss you guys. Have fun and have a good one.